Welcome back, my friends. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to
Monday.
you.
Love Mondays.
Yep.
Do you love Mondays? Can you tell it's Monday?
They're all the same. Every day is Monday from here until the end of 2020. They're all
no.
days.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing one of these every day from here on out. That's the plan.
I'm in. We may have to get approval, but I'm in.
But for now, we are back with episode 227 of We Were Gamers. I'm Michael. I'm hosting today. With me, as always, are...
It's me, JJ, the guy speaking now.
Hey, it's Andy, the other gentleman who spoke after the first gentleman. No, the second gentleman. I'm the third gentleman.
We're all gentlemen here.
Muh Gentlemens.
Ooh, I like it. So we're back for another episode. Andy, do you want to quite literally get us rolling here?
On some new stiff rubber.
Yes.
Some tight threads. What do you call
Some snazzy new rims.
Snazzy treads.
There you go.
Yeah. It's got all season tires on it, I think. Hey, I bought a new car. We bought a new car. Our family owns a new car. I scored a new ride. All these words. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to make a giant SUV sound cool.
All right, so you got a new SUV. Tell us what you got.
Okay. Hyundai makes a car called the Palisade, which is a competitor to vehicles such as the Ford Explorer, the Kia Telluride, the Chevy Traverse, the Canyonero, the last one's a Simpsons one.
Yeah, thank you
what I
for
mean.
that.
The big,
We got that.
big cars, three row cars. We had a previous vehicle that we eventually used the California lemon law on, and ordered this vehicle via mostly the internet after a test drive, and waited for it to come off of a boat, and now we own it. It's cool. It's nice to have a new, fresh set of wheels. JJ,
Hello.
it reminds me of the interior of your car quite a bit.
Like, because my car is the last modern recent car you sat in. Your old car was newer than mine. Is currently.
It has the aesthetics of a BMW.
I see. In that it is.
Very minimal.
I don't know what that means. Yeah.
Very minimal black plastics.
Okay.
So a lot of the Japanese cars, there's gray flat plastics a lot of places. Depending on what brands you buy, more or less of that. American cars, a lot of black plastics. And then you get into the soft touch type stuff that the BMWs and the Audis and all of the world do.
The soft touch plastics.
Yes,
Let's
exactly.
Be clear what those are made of.
I'm sorry. Also plastics. But you know how they the aesthetic of a BMW to me is a lot
They coat them a bit.
A lot of squat lines of different things. So when you're looking at your center dash, your radio is a very thin squat line across the dash. Underneath that, your radio is a squat line of controls, and underneath that is a squat line. They do a lot of banding of their interiors, I feel like, so that it doesn't look like one material or one thing for too much space. Whereas a lot of other car companies tend to have squares of things. Like here is your square of controls, stuff like that.
Sure.
I say that, and then I think when you look down away from the dash, there's a gigantic actual literal square in the middle of the console that has one button and it slides open. And inside there is a wireless phone charging mat and cup holders and a whole bunch of other stuff, but you can fold it or flip it closed. So there's kind of this giant flat, almost like a work surface in a way, so that you don't have a giant hole you're trying to balance stuff on if you're working in the car. Guys, it has a push button transmission.
I mean, push button starts aren't anything new. That's
Not a push to start. Do you want to put it in drive? Push that square button that has a D
you
on
have
it.
no gear shift. It's
No-
all buttons.
Right.
It is a push button. Gear shifter, right?
Shifter. Yes. The all gear shifter. There's a dial that looks like what you would expect the gears to be on and stuff. That's for the modes, the drive modes and stuff like that. It's a kind of a weird interior. Getting used to trying to get it into drive is very strange. You can't just sort of reach for the knob or the stick.
You have to push a button.
You have to like feel a button out or like look down and push a button.
I mean, are you frequently attempting to change the car into drive while not looking? I feel that you should be looking.
No, but I have.
Or if nothing else, have your foot on the brake, because that's also something you should be required to do before it allows you to change gears.
No, but I when you get used to a car, you get in the habit of knowing where a reverse is, so you can start to look behind you and check your mirrors and stuff while you're putting it in gear.
Yeah, it's muscle memory.
This is definitely more of a deliberate, okay, my foot's on the brake. It is now in reverse. I will check my mirrors because I don't know. I can't feel for the R.
I feel like that's a process everyone goes through with a new car, whether it's a new to you car or new because you've never had a car, or like you do that when you first start driving also, right? You're like, okay, I have to foot on the brake. Now I can shift it into reverse and put my hand over the seat and look behind me. Hi, Dad, in the passenger seat. And like, the whole thing, like it's all, you'll the feel will come back after you have done it, 50 more times.
I agree. I think though that there's a sentimentality memory of anything with a straight line shift stick. Yeah, you might need to find it the first time you get in the car, but by the end of like 4 or 5 drives, you got it. It's the same in every car almost, Yeah. Versus this one's just a little bit more gonna have to take some learning.
I just feel like it's so different depending on what kind of car you are driving on, right? Like if you learned in a car with a manual transmission, that's going to be completely different. Yeah. A lot of cars still have column shifters, attached to the wheel, and that's something completely else.
This has paddle shifters on the wheel, by the way.
Sure, why not, man? Yeah. Go for it.
It's nice for
downshifting.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's not really.
It's literally all you would use it for.
I don't really use it much for upshifting, but downshifting is very nice to control your speed. It has hill descent control for that, like if you want that slow creep down a hill or something, you don't have to try and do it just with the paddle shifter or whatever. But it's been a long time since I've driven a car that is literally just a 6-cylinder engine with nothing. I can't remember. Every car either is electric or has a turbo that I've driven in the last 5 years, I think. And so
I think stepping. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, stepping backwards in the way of driving. Like I have to remember not to have to blip the throttle to spool up a turbo.
That's not really something you need to do with modern engines either, by the way. I just want to. Okay. It's not. It really isn't.
I would say you're probably right on some brands. I would also say a car that I test drove in the last 2 weeks needed it to spool the turbo.
Okay. I mean, you can just call out the Subaru if you want to.
That was it.
I knew it was it. Because it's a thing people do with Subaru STIs, so I just assumed it was the same thing.
Oh, yeah. It's the same motor.
Yeah. So, look, modern engines, which Subaru does not use, I think don't have this problem. Look, it is something also you would do if you were trying to like get the maximum level of performance out of your car on, for instance, a racetrack.
Sure.
But you're driving a 3-row SUV with your kids probably in it. Yeah. You don't need that. It's fine. The extra 3 horsepower, who cares? Like, it's not going to help you.
Oh, of course. But this is, naturally aspirated, so it just has that very slow, methodical. if you stick it at 3,000 RPMs, you'll slowly go faster. Kind of driving. It's okay. Car talk. There you go.
I watched a video about a car today that is both all of these things.
Yeah.
Supercharged,
Okay.
turbocharged,
Yeah.
hybrid.
Huh.
That's a lot of things.
A gasoline engine with a supercharger, a turbocharger, and an electric hybrid system.
What gain do you get from a super and a turbo?
I have no clue, bro. It seems bad.
That seems like.
I think the gain you get is the amount of money you are now spending
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
in
So
the repairs.
it's the flex, is what you're saying? Like the flex of having spent it?
Yeah, I guess. Because I can't think of any other thing that it would be, right?
I can't imagine the performance gain of a super on top of a turbo.
Anyway, I thought it was very silly.
I have a car question. This is like adulting minute also for you. Maybe Michael and I talked about it a little bit, but now that we're those adults, JJ, you've kept your car 10 years?
I bought it in 2010. I was a 2011 model year, so yeah, that sounds about
Okay,
right.
so your car is exactly as old as mine is.
So both of you, how much do you wish you had had an extended warranty at this point in time?
I did. Although mine has since expired, but I had an extended one on mine.
There is no warranty that would have insured my car this long.
No,
Totally.
same here. Mine would not have lasted, but mine was 100,000 mile.
So
the part that like there are select components of my car that could still be under warranty, right? Like,
right, sure.
but those are not the components that are ever the problem.
So the company we bought from has a component has a list that would cover 90% of the car for that long. But it's a question of like, you've always been told, don't buy extended warranties. You know?
Well, so the question is, what is the cost of that warranty versus expected maintenance cost?
Sure, of course.
And of course, they don't provide you expected maintenance cost, and especially for a brand new car, you don't know.
Right, it could be anything.
And your car is a relatively new model. I mean, it's been out for a year or two or something, right?
This is its second or third production year. Yeah.
So they
worked
probably
the major bugs out.
They fixed the biggest problems, right?
Yeah, maybe.
But like the weird gasket that fails at 50,000 miles, maybe they haven't seen too many of those yet, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I have spent so like for instance, my car is a BMW, right? Like it, in terms of total cost, right? It's very expensive. If I have problems with my engine, it's gonna be a lot of money. Just that's the answer, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I don't frequently have them. I would say, only once have I ever been stranded by twice. Twice have I ever been stranded by my car in 10 years. And one of them was at 30,000 miles and I was on the freeway, and that was years and years ago at this point. And the other one was several years ago when the water pump failed in the parking lot of my office and I had to get it towed. That was it. Never like anything dangerous happening. Well, the 30,000 mile one was kind of dangerous because I was on the freeway at the time, but never really a like matter of like this car won't start. It's like, there's like something dripping out of here. I should get this looked at, right? But like I could do it tomorrow. I don't have to do it instantly.
Yeah, and I mean the extended warranty is always just a matter of hedging your bets, right?
Yeah, totally. And like a lot of companies offer extended warranties for everything. Like I know Toyota offers them for many years. BMW does as well. And it's like you can pay us like $6,000 or whatever, tack it onto the price of your car, and then you get 4 extra years of their dealer repairs and whatever. And some cars come with free maintenance for the first X years or whatever.
Oh yeah, I got 3 years of maintenance on my car.
So here's the scam on that. How much maintenance do you think they recommend in those first 3 years? Because they will only do recommended maintenance.
Yeah.
They said every 5,000 miles, but I imagine currently and going forward, I'm not going to drive 5,000 miles for a long time during this pandemic.
Yeah. So like that's the first thing, right? Like they're not going to, if you haven't hit 5,000 miles, they're not just going to do an oil change for you for whatever reason, right?
Right.
Secondly, a lot of their like recommended maintenance schedule stuff doesn't start until that time elapses. For instance, I had like 4 years of free maintenance on my car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, actually, because it uses synthetic oil, we actually don't recommend you change it for the first 20,000 miles.
Whoa, you got
And I was like,
20,000 miles off of your oil?
the first oil change, they said.
What?
I know, right? And I was like, that sounds extremely wrong.
That was really long.
What are they using at the factory that you don't have access to?
I don't know,
Seriously.
like 0W negative 10. I don't know, man. Like, and it's, so they're like, they've recommended these crazy long times. And I was like, what is this about? Oil changes are covered under the free maintenance.
Yeah.
If they pushed it out to 15 or 20,000 miles, all of a sudden you're doing 2 years in between oil changes and they only have to change your oil once or twice.
Hmm.
People noted that previously, again, my model wasn't offered before they started like changing some of their lengths on their warranties, but other models that had been offered went from a recommended oil change life of like 8,000 miles to 12 all of a sudden.
I know synthetic
So,
lasts quite a bit longer. I think it was 10,000 miles for our Ford's synthetic oil changes.
yeah.
But woof.
So, and again, this also was like 8 years ago. So who knows like what the science has come down on since then.
Sure.
But, so you have to take that into account that like, if you just have something you don't like about the car, yeah, you can take it in and get it fixed. Right. But they're not going, something that's actually broken. Right. But they're not just going to like, I don't like I like it's running weird. Like, can you just look at it? They're like, yeah, can you show us? We'll run a
Yeah.
diagnostic or something. They're not going to like spend a bunch of time with you though. They're
Right.
here like there's like 15 other cars behind you that they also have to get to. So it certainly can be worth it. And I know people have gotten extended warranties and ended up like saving tons of money because the engine seal cracked or God knows whatever, and then they saved themselves an entire engine rebuild for free. But the reason they offer them is to make money, right? They're not offering it out of the goodness of their heart. So
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I can imagine, it's like they're willing to make the bet, right? On X number of cars.
It's like
Right.
all other insurance.
Sure.
yeah. And so then, it comes to like, well, how are you expecting to use this? How many miles are you planning to drive? What is your use case going to be versus the use case of the typical buyer, right? Because that's
Mhm.
kind of how they tune these things. And if you think you're going to be putting more miles on this car than the typical user, and you're going to be doing, more difficult, driving it faster, driving it harder, you are likely then to get more benefit out of the wear and tear kinds of parts of the thing than the average person would, right? Because you're driving 50,000 miles a year instead of 10,000 or whatever, And so that's like another calculation you can make to decide whether these extended warranties are worth it, because they're generally not cheap, right? It's like several $1,000s depending on, how the length you want to go.
Right. Of course.
Yep.
Yeah. My frugal brain always says that they're making the bet, so you shouldn't take it, right?
Yeah, I also was told the same advice, right? Like basically never take these.
Right. But as you kind of get on and in wondering how long these things are supposed to last, and the prices have obviously come down from the exorbitant trying to screw people over to, man, that's just enough money that it almost seems worth it. It's an interesting new world of math we have to live in with these cars living 200 plus thousand miles if you want them to.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to, I think it changes the calculus too as cars get more and more software heavy.
Or tech
Certainly,
heavy, right? Like,
Hardware is one thing, right? Like if you get a good piece, it's going to last you for a long time. But software can be very finicky.
I mean, I've got 3 LCD screens and a HUD in my car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, what do you do if the center control touchpad screen or whatever like won't register in the left corner or left side or whatever?
Or the entire screen in front of me, which runs my tack and speed, which are not physical dials. They're an LCD.
Yeah, that is now becoming extremely common on fancy cars these days.
Which is shocking to me because it's like, what if that goes out? What do you... Huh.
I think
I think it'll still run,
Slow
but
down.
yeah.
I think the bet they're placing there is that the lifetime of that screen is longer than the lifetime of the engine,
Yeah.
and you're going to get rid of it if the engine grenades itself rather than attempt to replace the screen at 400,000 miles or whatever.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is right. It's something to think about. If there's some kind of like your car is struck by lightning or whatever, and a bunch of electronics get fried, and now you can't see your speedo, problem. And like, you can't just take that to like your local independent mechanic and be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, man."
So that was the other realization we had. It's funny, shopping during this went from being about the price of the car and worrying about nothing else to like thinking about more so the life of a car afterwards, because it could be a long time before we really use a car heavily again. And so we might get a long life out of these cars. And what you just mentioned, like the electronics going out or grenading themselves, or you're not being able to read your speed. If you beforehand were thinking, I'm never going to buy an extended warranty because all I'm doing is paying for the name brand AC unit instead of taking it to a mechanic on the side, not the BMW dealer or whoever, right? And getting the name brand part, I'll go get the off brand part. But like that exact LCD screen that got hit during the lightning storm is not maybe replaceable by an outside mechanic. And even if it is replaceable by the outside mechanic and you get a better labor rate, they still probably have to buy the parts straight from the manufacturer.
So I can tell you the answer to this, right?
Oh,
I have done literally this. The last time I had my car in, there was a whole bunch of stuff that I had fixed because, like it had been a while since I'd taken it in for like a serious service, and there was something wrong, and this and then the other thing, and anyway, it went for a while. But at one point there's a piece on my car called the charge pipe, and maybe we talked about it on a previous pod, I don't remember. But it's essentially a piece of, in my car, like very ruggedized, but it's plastic, that goes from one part of the engine connecting into another part, right? This piece broke. That breaking essentially means the gas from the turbocharger can't go anywhere.
Oh, you don't need that. It's fine. You can run without it.
Yeah, it's real, engine that really needs it is really just fine. You can definitely get above 30 sometimes. So, once you get going and the speed is there, like you can maintain, but you can't accelerate basically at all. And so anyway, in replacing this piece, they're like, hey man, here's some other things that were like affected by when this thing kind of like shattered itself inside the plastic had become brittle and it just cracked open. Here's some other pieces that got impacted, right? Well, you can replace this charge pipe with the same piece that came from the OEM, right? The same piece. Or you can replace it from the company that sells that piece to the OEM. And they're like, by not going through the OEM, you save like $5 or whatever. It's basically nothing. But it is this.
Wow.
There's only one source, this company that makes it. You can either buy it from them or buy it from the OEM. There aren't other places. Like there aren't other ones. Yeah, you can buy like upgraded versions of ones that are better than the one that came with the car, right? Like you can buy metal ones or ones with like, coatings and I don't know, whatever stuff that go faster parts. But like there's no other part. You have to get this one. It's the only one that fits here in this engine, in this configuration. It's this one. And there's one company that makes it. Well, do you want the one that has the stamp from the company that you bought your car from? Or do you want the one before that stamp got put on it? Essentially, right? And save like $5.
Either way, it's an expensive part.
It doesn't make it less expensive, right? And so that's the point, right? The cost of the whole thing is still that they have to take the engine apart to fit this thing in there. So it's the same, you're not really saving much there. And it's probably that way with these screens, right? If a screen breaks, yeah, you could take it to your local Hyundai specializing independent mechanic or whatever. I'm sure they will have the ability to take it out and replace it with the new one or whatever. Dollars to donuts, that price is not going to be like tons cheaper than necessarily if you went to the dealer and had them do it. Now, it probably will be cheaper because dealers aren't necessarily known for being, real real thrifty with your labor and or
Yeah.
money. But it's at some point the expensive part is still an expensive part, whoever and whatever they get it from.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
So,
I could talk cars forever. I don't know. Any car. I enjoy having a new car, even if it's not a sports car or whatever. But it's cool to
Always fun
find
to have
every
something new
hidden.
to play with.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Michael.
next time
Just
when you see this thing, whenever where that's allowed with a face mask and face shield on, uh, we're gonna play a game, JJ, called "Can You Find All the USBs?"
I know. I already watched the YouTube video on this one, dude. He pointed them all out. So yeah, I know where
You
they all
cheater.
All right. Well, you guys want to do some more non-game discussion and talk about some food?
Who needs games?
are. I love food.
All right. I'll present you a choice. Do you want to have the debate first, or do you want your brains broken first?
Broken first.
Okay. I'm going to ask you what seems like a real simple question, and then you're going to think about it and realize that it's more difficult to answer than you think. I saw this over the weekend, and I haven't been able to actually put a good answer together. And that is, what makes soup soup?
Warm out of a bowl.
That could be
Okay,
oatmeal.
so oatmeal is soup.
Yeah, I'm okay with calling oatmeal soup. Why do we have to gatekeep? Let oatmeal be soup if it wants to be.
So is chili soup?
Ooh, okay. See, yeah, maybe it
Or
is.
is chili stew?
Is stew soup?
Is stew
Is
soup?
stew a subclass of soup?
Maybe
Because
it is.
I would call oatmeal a stew. I would not call oatmeal a soup unless you made it into what's the it's not gruel. It's the type where you have oats in
Porridge?
porridge. Yeah, well, that's soup. Porridge is soup.
Yeah, see,
I think-
I don't know. Like some porridges I might classify as a stew, but oatmeal I wouldn't. I wouldn't say oatmeal is a soup.
No, it's not a soup.
I mean, it's not a soup unless you make it wrong and it's all wet.
No, then it's porridge, which is soup.
Okay.
I would say that stew is not a soup.
Okay, so then what's the line? Why is stew not a soup?
More liquid to solid.
Okay, so in order to be a soup, it has to be more liquid than solid,
Yeah.
Is
which
that
then
it?
makes chili not a soup, right?
Chili would be a stew, not a soup.
Right, but then that would also make gravy a soup.
No, gravy would be a stew because you put flour in it and thicken it. So there's more flour than water.
Ooh, I believe that's probably wrong. I believe there is not by ratio more than 50% flour in gravy.
Well, there's more than that in gravy, right? You've got your drippings, you've got...
I think here is the idea. I think you can't consider gravy soup because gravy is not made primarily of water.
Yeah, because gravy is...
It's like fat and other things.
Gravy is
but
sauce. So is
nothing-
sauce is not soup.
Yeah, gravy is sauce. There you go. Gravy's a condiment. This is not even a discussion.
Right. So like ketchup wouldn't be soup even though it's liquid.
Yeah, because then is water soup? Well, no, it's just water.
Yeah.
No, but you could also make vegetable soup that has very little additional liquid because you puree the vegetables.
Yeah, but you put some stuff in the water, now it's soup.
You need some
And
liquid.
you heat it. You have to heat it. Right?
See, I'm going to disagree with you have to heat it.
Oh, gazpacho
Chili-
is soup
chili
and you don't
soup,
have to
yeah,
eat it.
Gazpacho soup.
Mm,
But gazpacho is more liquid to vegetable.
yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Cold soups there are some.
I think you worked too hard on this.
I have a definition that is foolproof.
Oh,
Okay.
You apply the rule of what is there's a name for the rule. I forgot it. All right, well, whatever.
Bechdel
the idea
test.
is I know it when I see it.
Fair enough.
And if I see this and it does not seem like soup, it's the
were your
NFL.
other-
what
what
is
were-
a catch rule?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know catch when I see it.
Right, yeah.
That's kind of where I kept winding up is like, I know soup when I see it.
I know, but like, so what were your other oopsie is that a soup moments? Because we solved gravy, we solved stew, we solved
I think
oatmeal.
Those
think
were the
the
ones that
cold
came
one-
up for me.
I think the cold one was like the big one for me because like I was just going to say flat everything soup has to be warm, but no, you guys are totally right that like gazpacho and like cold udon and some stuff are some cold soups.
So interestingly, udon is hot and then made cold, but gazpacho is made cold.
Mm-hmm.
What you'd really have a problem getting through is what's the difference between gazpacho and salsa?
Yeah. That was the only other one was where does salsa starts to get really close if it's real smooth because
Mhm.
that's awful close to just like differently spiced tomato soup.
Well, see, so hold on. So tomato soup, though, in my opinion, should have a cream-like substance in it. I know people would disagree with me, especially if you're vegan. And you can make a creamy tomato soup with potato, but I would argue then that you're imitating the creaminess of having had cream in your tomato soup. And tomato soup's often made with like tomato puree, tomato sauce, tomatoes, like a lot of different tomato goes into tomato soup. Above what you would do with salsa is just like, here are tomatoes that were then blended up.
Sure, but
Diced
either way, you're
tomatoes.
not necessarily adding more liquid, right? The tomatoes in a lot of cases are liquidy enough on their own that
I think
once
for
they're pureed.
for making gazpacho you might be right, but for making tomato soup I think they're not. You have to get like tomato sauce.
I mean, unless you just want like really chunky tomato soup.
Yeah.
The only trouble I'm having with this definition is gazpacho versus salsa.
Yeah, I think getting into the idea of what salsa counts as. Oh, again, wait, why are we having this discussion? Salsa's a condiment,
Okay, but why is
not in the discussion.
So gazpacho's not a condiment
No, because you're
because
not
you don't
eating it as
eat
a condiment.
gazpacho on top of other stuff?
Yeah, the context matters. Gazpacho is the meal.
Can
Salsa is
I
never
blow,
the meal.
Can I blow your mind right now and tell you I've had gazpacho served over crackers?
I mean, crackers are the side there.
It's just inverted.
Even though it's
Something
served
like the
over,
crackers
it's
in your
still
chowder.
okay. All
you
right.
can pour an entire like
Yeah,
fancy
so is
thing
chowder a
on top of a
condiment?
crostini. No, what? Wait, what? Gazpacho is the main. The chowder is the main. I'm being completely consistent. I'm confused. Why is this a problem?
No, it's not a problem. I was
You
just
like-
thinking. I was laughing. At
Fancy
thinking,
restaurants will give you like a crostini,
Yeah.
and then like pour a soup on top of it. And now you're saying the soup is the condiment? No,
because the serving is bigger of the
Soup,
bread.
okay.
Yeah. I was just laughing, thinking of chowder served as a condiment. That'd be pretty funny. Would
Have
you like
never
some
had
chowder?
fries?
Yeah, I
I
was
would eat
just
it.
about to say. Would you
Chowder
want some
fries.
chowder fries?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Chili
would eat-
fries. Chili's
Yeah, let's
chili's
go.
a condiment.
Give it to me.
There we go.
Give it to me. Yeah.
I literally had chili fries this weekend at Bottle Logic.
Yeah, guess what? Those are good.
It was a good condiment.
Yeah. While we're talking condiments, this is a good transition point for us to food topic take two.
Take
You
two.
guys.
Uh-oh.
So, with a side note here, the good people from Deadspin are back. They have resurrected themselves as Defector.com. If you have not discovered them, go check it out. But the other day they posted a list, and we shared this in the chat, and I think we all had some issues.
Yeah, but I think you should redo the list just to really get the full effect.
Okay. And we can share the list just so people have access to it later. Do I go from the bottom up or do I go from the top down?
You go from the top down. These lists are meant to be read that way.
Okay. All right. So this is a list of burger toppings as ranked by the staff writers on a lunch break. Number 1, bacon. 2 is pickles. 3 is cheddar cheese. Caramelized onions. Pepper jack cheese. That's your top 5. Then we have we have already
Andrew, there's gonna be a whole talk.
You gotta wait, Andrew. Let me run through the rest of these. Raw onions, tomatoes, fried onions, American cheese, blue cheese. That's your next. That rounds out your top 10. Swiss cheese, ketchup, lettuce, mayo, mushrooms, then eggs, avocado, mustard, hot peppers, barbecue sauce, and I'm throwing out the next four. We're not even going to talk about them.
Hold on. So what? So we're stopping our list at 20 then.
No, but look, you got to finish the fact that they keep going, and they say
kept going, and they said bell peppers, spinach, getting hit by a food truck, and then coleslaw.
That's that. See, you have to keep going there because
That's why.
coleslaw should be a top 20 if they solve some of the other fucking problem. Ooh, I said the wrong word there.
Look, no, dude, you said the right word because look, man, this list is a crime.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk
A
about.
lot wrong here.
All right, so
for my first question, before
chili is not on this list.
okay, we'll get to that in a second. My first question is, how in the world do you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cheeses on this list?
Yeah, I think that's my biggest argument is like so much of the list is taken up by cheeses, and then they're like, which cheese is better than the other cheese? You could put all the cheeses at like 9, and I think it's fine.
And I want to be clear, I like spicy things and I like cheese, but there's no way that pepper jack cheese, if we're separating all of this, belongs above any other of these cheeses.
Oh, I mean, I think it belongs above blue cheese, but yeah, I agree with you about the other ones. Actually, maybe above Swiss cheese too. Swiss is pretty boring.
Swiss is boring, but a Swiss portobello, like the Swiss burgers, right? This is the problem. This is the exact problem with ranking cheese. I would not put blue cheese at 10 unless I was having a burger built for blue cheese.
Sure, caramelized onions
With
blue cheese.
Yeah, right, exactly. Half of these toppings go together.
Yeah. You there's no world where you're putting like blue cheese, lettuce, pickles, tomato, and and your like mayo on your standard like fast food restaurant burger, and you're like, yeah, blue cheese that guy. That's what I want.
Right, like take
that's not. No one's doing that.
Take the top 5. You wouldn't make a burger out of the top 5. What the heck?
No,
that'd be bad. Yeah.
No. You can't.
Bacon,
you can't
pickles, cheddar cheese, caramelized onions, pepper jack. That's awful. No.
The problem here might be that we need condiment sets, right? Not individual items, but you need sets. So I would give you Swiss and mushroom as a set. I would give you blue cheese and caramelized onions as a set.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like
and then
caramelized onions anyway, but
sure.
I mean, look, you're allowed to mix and match if you want, but there are some ones that will never be had without the other.
I mean, as I get older too, things like bacon have fallen off of the top of my list.
Oh, that's your own personal life problem, man. Bacon still is very good on everything.
I didn't say it's not very good. I would put it at like 6 or 7 maybe.
Okay. I mean,
but
look, you can make that wrong choice.
There's a hot minute now in my life where shredded lettuce on a burger has taken a primo interest in my life.
No. All right, no. Look, that gets to be 28 on this list, and we don't go below 20. Shredded lettuce. Get out of here with that.
I didn't say it's top 5. I'm just saying.
27 on the 20-point list. That's where shredded lettuce goes.
Can we just throw eggs out?
Are we throwing eggs out? Fried egg should be higher on the list than it is.
That's the exact problem. I assume fried egg.
How else do you have eggs on a burger?
Yeah, what other way?
No, you don't say eggs. There's no other world where any other version of eggs belongs on there. The 16 should be fried egg, singular and done.
Sure, but that's the same.
Okay. I agree with that, by the way.
Now you're arguing the other side of the cheese argument, right? You can't say lump all the cheeses together.
No. No. What I'm saying is egg belongs on here on its own because it's like ketchup. It should be one of the things that if you put it in the top 5 would work, right? But like putting blue cheese on this list, you're not just going to have blue cheese. You could just have put like bacon and caramelized onions and tomato and I don't know, lettuce. Okay. Can you put like blue cheese on that? Maybe. Could you put Swiss cheese on? Maybe. Depends on like what else is on there. Egg? Absolutely. Throw an egg. Same thing with avocado.
Yeah. So I think the reason
fried egg is avocado.
I really want to get to the heart of the problem with this list. The heart of the problem with this list, it was built by people from the East Coast.
Yes. So avocado
And
should be number 2.
You can tell because avocado is like, 17 or whatever, and egg is super low. If this was built by people who are no good burgers, like the West Coast, you would have eggs and avocado like 3 and 4.
I stand by this that we should not say eggs. It's a semantic argument. I understand. But there's no other version of egg other than fried egg that gets included.
I mean, I agree. I'm not putting like scrambled eggs on my burger. That's not a thing.
Unless it's a breakfast burger.
What? Ugh. Come on.
But even then,
You're
most
30 years
places
old. Grow up.
fried egg. No, I'm not saying I want my eggs to be scrambled. Even in that case, I want the fried egg.
Yeah.
You want the fried egg.
Exactly.
You want
Breakfast burger should have a fried egg too. You're right.
Yeah. I don't.
Okay. Look, we're throwing stuff off this list. Just throw out all the cheeses. We're lumping the cheese together.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with the cheese is so independent of like a bunch of other things that I don't think.
Because I don't like American cheese. But if I'm gonna eat a Five Guys burger, I'm getting American cheese.
Right. I think all the cheeses have their places in various burgers, but I don't. For the purposes of what we're doing here, you can't be like, well, I think American cheese should be this and cheddar cheese should be a different one. Like, no, get out of here. That's no.
Yeah.
I do like that they separated raw and fried onions because they are different enough.
Yes,
and
very
like
different.
a separate condiment there.
So hold on. They've got 3 different types of onions on here,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't include onion rings, but they have barbecue sauce.
I might
Barbecue sauce are fried, right? Fried onions.
So I would say you might be able to lump onion rings in with fried onions. I
Is
realize
that is what a onion ring is, right?
styles of fried onions. Like there's onion straws and onion rings, and
Yeah, there's a lot of different fried onions, I guess. Okay. All right. I'm
Sort of.
willing to accept the ruling of the Court of Food Crime.
And I think we all agree caramelized onions are the best onions.
yeah, no, I have no argument with where they put that.
Andrew really wants to put onion rings higher.
No. Yeah, caramelized onions are the best onions. Sometimes I'd rather have a raw onion, but I don't think that makes it better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. There are some burgers, like especially if I'm at like a backdoor barbecue or whatever, a raw onion is often the way I want that burger.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm getting at. I think onion ring or fried onion is always third. There are some places in the world, like a Astro Burger, where I want fried onion rings thrown in there. But it's never gonna be like my top choice just at random. And then, like you said, like at a backyard barbecue, I want that like straight up chopped raw onion that's sitting there on the table.
Well, here's a question for you brought on by Backyard Barbecue. Does raw onions count lightly grilled raw onions?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
So if they're not caramelized.
yeah,
Or-
you got to get all the way toasted to caramelize.
Like
them,
if they have changed color and have become translucent, they have moved into caramelized, even if they're not by definition caramelized, right?
yeah, I know what they're.
But
what
you've
they're
changed the flavor enough. Also, does raw onions include for you guys red onion or no?
I mean, it is a raw onion.
Okay.
I don't know that when I think of raw onions, I do not think of red. I think of white, but it is an option.
Some people are completely against red but love white onions. So I'm an equal opportunity onion eater and have no preference one over the
Yeah, I was
other.
going to say, I think like, the archetypal onion that I'm thinking of when you just tell me raw onion.
On a
I'm probably
burger
thinking of
specifically.
specifically on a burger, I'm thinking of the white onion. But if there was red onion on that plate when I was going to that burger, I'm putting it on there.
Okay.
I think the real heart of the problem with this list is basically from 12 to 18.
Yeah, so that's the stuff, right? How is that stuff there?
Yeah, that's the heart of a classic hamburger right there, or a classic cheeseburger.
Well, it's because they have 7 different cheeses on here above that area.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
you took the cheese down, you've already moved up 3 spots, first of all. Okay. Is the order from 12 to... Okay, so 12 to 18, ketchup, lettuce, mayo, mushrooms for some reason, egg, avocado, mustard. Is that? I don't even think that's in the right order to begin with. Even though we
No,
need to.
It's not.
You're gonna take issue with mustard being at the bottom of that list.
Yeah, it should be near the top.
I think that I don't think this section is in the correct order.
No.
But I think I agree with you. The real problem is like some of these things I think are like so archetypally important to the idea of a burger
Yeah.
Right.
that you can't have them this low on a list of like best burger toppings.
I think I don't like pickles as much as you guys probably like pickles. I like pickles now. I've learned to like pickles. And I'm not going to even argue about bacon. But if you
I think pickles are fine, but I don't think pickles
Okay,
are number
so
2.
there you go.
That's for sure.
So I'm not even going to argue about bacon being at 1. I'm going to say cheese needs to be number 2. Just cheese in general. Caramelized onions 3. And then you slot some of 12 through 18 right there at number 4. Some, not all.
I'm with that. I think mushrooms doesn't get to go
Nope,
up there.
that was going to be my target if I had to take a stand. Mushrooms.
And I honestly
has to
think
go.
you could. I think you can keep lettuce near the bottom of these.
Ooh.
It's not
Lettuce-
as important as everything else.
Lettuce is the top 10, man.
I think I agree with you that it's a top 10, but I think I want everything else in this little section before I want lettuce. Except mushroom. Not that I don't like mushroom, I also like mushrooms, but mushrooms are too variable. You don't have mushrooms every time on a burger. You get them sometimes.
And
Situation.
mushrooms suffer from is it a portobello? Is it grilled mushrooms? Is it what type of mushrooms is it? What else is on the burger? If you suffer from what else is on the burger, you shouldn't be in the top 10.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, should we reorder 12 through 18 real quick?
Let's just ignore mushrooms and then do it.
Okay, more mushrooms.
And run it down.
I'm just gonna say my go out front, and then we change it around. Avocado, mayo, mustard, lettuce. No, avocado. Yeah, hold on. Sorry, avocado, mustard, mayo, lettuce, egg, ketchup. Maybe you could move mayo down or mustard down, and I wouldn't argue.
I would move probably lettuce down and ketchup up from that.
I like where your headspace is. I love avocado at the top. That's like great. I approve.
More people
highly.
should try avocado on a burger.
I think you could drop egg a place or two and move the others up. I agree that ketchup and lettuce are the bottom here, but it's not like I don't have a strong affinity for one or the other.
There's just so many times I don't want ketchup.
Yeah. Okay, here's my problem with ketchup, right? Ketchup is it is a thing that every person I feel like has on a burger growing up. And then you get older and you're like, I had ketchup 8,000 times. I'm over this ingredient. And then you learn to like other things and then you stop eating ketchup. I think these days the only time I eat ketchup is on hot dogs.
I was going to just literally say, and I was going to ask Michael too, that when was the last time you had ketchup on a hot dog? I cannot remember because I'll put on everything: mustard, sauerkraut, pickles, pickle relish, you name it. I'll throw it on a hot dog.
I'm still pretty much a purist on a hot dog. I like mustard. I like a little bit of chopped onions, and then I like a bit of ketchup. Mostly mustard.
I think the last time ketchup went on a hot dog for me was like at a baseball game at a baseball park. I got one fancy hot dog and one super cheap boiled ketchup hot dog.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know, Michael.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, the last time I had ketchup on a hot dog was on Friday. That's what I was craving it for lunch, and I went out and got myself just like an all beef hot dog, ketchup and mustard.
Very
Huh.
It
solid.
was exactly what I wanted.
And then
So
you had cream cheese on your hot dog on Sunday.
Well, that was a brat, so
flip this
apples and
question.
oranges.
Flip this question around. When was the last time you had ketchup on a burger, Michael?
Probably also recently. I'm partial to ketchup on a burger.
Michael's
Andrew?
a ketchup guy.
Probably the last time I had a burger.
I literally haven't put ketchup on a burger in a decade.
Yeah, so I think I'm certainly not a decade, but it's been a while for me. Like probably whenever the last time I was at a backyard barbecue again would be a ketchup burger situation.
I can picture the last time I put ketchup on a burger, and it was like that I can remember. If somebody else remembers, you can remind me and tell me I was wrong. But it was like a work job. It was like 1 a.m, and I think I got a plain In-N-Out burger with just meat and cheese, and I put ketchup and mustard on it because I was so tired and not very hungry, but I knew I needed to get up in 4 hours.
Yeah, I think I just think that I am not unless it comes on the burger without me having to order it, I'm never ordering it.
Yeah,
I might have
exactly.
it on the side with fries or whatever, but I'm extremely unlikely to actually order the ketchup.
Speaking of In-N-Out, not on this list is the Burger House staple Thousand Island topping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I barely want that on the burger to start with, so that's fine.
Again, I wonder too how much of that is an East Coast West Coast thing.
Gotta be.
Is that a thing? Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's not
because
it's not
In-N-Out is only
nearly as
West Coast,
big.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Five Guys is a ketchup and mustard place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, it is a ketchup and mustard place, but you got to order it.
I'd still put.
Yes, you have to ask for it.
I would still put Thousand Island above barbecue sauce, bell peppers, spinach getting hit by a food truck.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm just tossing 21 through 24 off.
I'm saying
I
maybe
think
it makes the top 20.
I think I agree because, like, do you ever really want spinach or bell peppers on a burger?
No.
Yeah, that's
Bell
the
peppers
thing.
on a hot dog. Yeah,
Those are things that get put on your burger because they want to charge you $12. Like they don't want. They're not there because you wanted it.
Now, like a super charred hatch pepper, I'd eat on a burger.
Sure, but I'd lump that in with hot peppers at 19. Right, that just seems like a catch-all to me. Jalapeno for your
Sure.
Because you got to remember these are East Coast people, so they're probably not used to like Mexican spicy levels, where like a hatch pepper may as well be flavorless. Because like they don't even have jalapenos on this list, and I think I would consider jalapenos separately in a lot of cases from most other kinds of hot peppers.
Yeah, I'd go right near pickles with me.
But again, it is not something that you can get outside of the Southwest, I would guess. Easily, anyway.
Fresh jalapenos.
Right, the good ones.
Yeah. Can we talk about coleslaw?
I don't think I can think of a situation where I have wanted coleslaw on a hamburger. Plenty of other sandwiches, but
yeah,
not
so
on
that's
a
the
hamburger.
thing. I think on a hamburger you don't ever want coleslaw.
I was gonna say
But
there's
on
plenty of other sandwiches I would eat coleslaw on, but I've never tried it on a hamburger. I was gonna ask.
No, like even a hamburger that I would design, right? If I picked an onion ring and barbecue sauce, I still don't think I'd want coleslaw.
Talking
Right,
about
that's the right profile, but
you start talking about stuff like a pulled pork burger.
there you go.
There you go. Now I want coleslaw. You start talking about like lamb on a burger. Maybe we could have a discussion. Chicken. Maybe. Yeah, sure.
Like a Nashville hot
Sure.
chicken.
Yeah, like a fried chicken or a spicy chicken like that. Yeah, coleslaw. Okay. Hamburger though, beef patty. And if there's and you want cheese probably with that beef patty, then if you put coleslaw with cheese, it's just no.
Yeah. All right. So they shouldn't have done past 20 at all. Okay, fine. Oof. I think they stumbled at the beginning by adding too much cheese, and it just threw their list out of complete order.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it, but do you all agree tomatoes so high up here?
No, it ended up getting moved down when we moved our 12 through 18 up.
Okay, yeah, because tomatoes feels like a lower level condiment
I
to
think
me.
I would put tomatoes above ketchup and fried egg. Just because I don't always want a fried egg, but I want a tomato most of the time.
Yeah, I would agree with you that I want a tomato much more frequently than I would want a fried egg.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so something like, and I disagree with number one being bacon. I think number one should be cheese. Uh, Maybe not. I don't even eat cheese that much on my burgers. Maybe it should be
Again,
caramelized onions at one.
Andrew just making all sorts of bad life choices here.
Ah, There's just a lot of times I don't like the cheese that they offer.
I mean, is this just because you don't like American cheese and American cheese is frequently the one you get?
Yeah, it depends on the. If I've been to the place before, I'll know. I'll always try it with their. I always try a restaurant's version of something untouched. But
As you should.
a lot of times I don't feel like the cheese and the patty mixed together in that way of like the smash burger, which is also a very West Coast thing, by the way. Uh, a smash burger, I'll eat American cheese all day, every day. But a lot of times I'll pass on cheese. I don't know.
And I mean, In-N-Outs are all American cheese as well.
Yeah, I pass on cheese there now too. I don't know. You guys pick the top five.
Well, I mean, I think we kind
We kind of got
of, I
there.
think we kind of got there, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, bacon, your cheese, whether that's one or two, whatever. Someone else can have that argument. You get your onions of the caramelized variety. Then you get your other, your lettuce and your mayo and mushrooms and avocado and all that up there with mustard and
I don't know about
lettuce
mushrooms.
and ketchup at the bottom. Mushrooms doesn't come along for the ride.
No. Mushrooms is definitely below fried egg and tomato and onion and fried onion and
Yeah, it's too situational still.
Yeah.
okay.
I think
We
got
fixed
there.
it.
We got this.
God, and they're so good about other things, but ugh.
I have read this article again and now see that they're saying this is the results of every person giving a score on every topping a score on 1 to 10, and then this is taken by averaging those scores.
Yes.
This is a terrible way to create a ranked list. It gives you travesties like this.
Yeah, this is why grading
one
grading
person can skew.
This is why you shouldn't grade on a curve, right? Like literally.
Yeah. It's just terrible. Don't. When you create a ranked list, you have to have an argument about it and someone has to capitulate. That's how ranked lists work. You can't just like take averages and then go, "Oh, well, this is the scientific ranking." Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Or if you're going to create a scientific ranking, you got to predetermine. Cuz like someone adding blue cheese on here, like did they not have the discussion ahead of time about cheese before they started ranking stuff?
Yeah. Right, cuz like as soon as you see
No.
this list you're like, "Why do I have to see cheese like 10 times?"
No, because they had to have written out the list ahead of time to give you the option to give each one of these a number.
guess,
so
but then
they wrote all these cheeses out deliberately.
man, that's the real crime here, other than 21 through 24. Now knowing that they had to have written the list in advance and let people put scores next to spinach.
There's a reason it's 22, but yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right. Well, if the people out there want to tell us why we're all horribly wrong and what the actual ranking should be, where should they tell us?
That would be podcast at wewergamers.com. You could also go to podcast at wewergamers.com and say, hey, on that most recent episode of We Were Gamers, you didn't talk about games. And we'd say, yeah, because we were gamers and we talked about food instead.
There might be games next week.
Oh, there definitely are, because JJ and I played some ODST.
Oh, nice. And JJ, I took your advice and fired up Chips Challenge.
Oh yeah, free games.
Yep. We also have a website and a YouTube. The YouTube has a little bell you can click, and you can subscribe to stuff. And then on there, you can find little cool playlists of things like subpods or component classes or whatever. And you can leave even like little helpful comments about what you liked. All those things are
good.
cool.
Definitely appreciate it.
Maybe we should have found a burger game to talk about in the burger discussion.
Burger time?
Burger time.
Literally the only burger game I know.